Hey there, YouTube. If you are a subscriber of my channel, thank you very much. This is not going to be a Transformers related video. Those are coming as soon as I have the new pieces in. If you have spoken to me about anything on TFW, you know I have things coming in to expand that conversation with the NPM state of things, how things are going to scale. So this is not that. This is another character that I do like. I have had a lot of toys in the collection that I have sold all because they're trash. The ones that I have enjoyed just playing around with, you know, on the side or looking at on my desk has surprisingly been some modern legends. The AI armor, the modular armor have been great toys for a $20 price point. The Mark III is my favorite armor of all time between any comic, between the movies. The Mark III, the first red and gold live action armor, nothing touches it to me. In my personal opinion, I love the look to that thing. I love that it's aerodynamic, it's sleek, it's bulky, it does not fall apart like the 42. It is, you know, it feels strong. Tony's armors later down the line did not feel as strong. So I was excited when the Marvel Legends Infinity Saga was announced. Got it in hand. It is a bit disappointing. The proportions aren't great. I have it right here. Torso's a little bit long. Kneecaps are too big. Hips are completely disgusting looking. I don't know what they were doing. Head is very accurate to the Mark III, and I do enjoy the sculpt, how that came out, but there's just too many slight proportional issues around the entire suit that throw the look off. It is the best in terms of by default, because every other option in the scale is so bad. Even the SHF, miserable. I had that toy, it was terrible. I was kind of assuming that this Mark 43 from Threezero, I'm sure you clicked on this if you did from the title, I thought this is kind of going to be another Iron Man figure that wasn't worth it, you know, because they just, for my money, I don't want to buy multiple Mark IIIs, I don't want to buy multiple Mark 43s, I don't want any of that. I want something that will work. I want to invest in a line that will give me what I want whenever I pick it up off the shelf. It won't crumble years down the line. I do not feel that way at all with this piece. I had a feeling I would, because why would this be any different? Threezero's track record I knew was good, but I've never handled any of their products. This is incredible, guys. I highly recommend, unless you hate this armor, if you want an Iron Man roughly in the scale, it is exactly 7 inches tall. No matter what some of the measurements online that the retailers say, it is exactly 7 inches. I'll prove it to you right here. It's exactly 7. That's not a camera trick. It's exactly 7 inches tall. It is much taller than, say, the modular armor. It's taller than the Mark III armor by maybe a quarter to a third of a head taller. Mark III armor is a little bit taller than the Legends comic armors that they make. So if you're looking for something around this scale, I definitely would say pick this up. Don't pick up, because for the 43 specifically, I want you to understand how many of these things we've had, and not one person on YouTube has them all. I certainly don't. You have the SHF, you have the Mafex, you have the Comic Cave, you have the Figma, you have the Revoltech, and now the 6th one is the Threezero, all within roughly the scale. Most of the other ones are smaller than this, but this isn't a Hot Toys. You understand what I'm talking about. And the 6 or 7 inches tall, you've had 6 releases, at least, unless I'm forgetting one. 6 releases. Why did it take that many to get to this point? And I don't think it's because Threezero is much better than Bandai. I don't think they know what they're doing. Bandai doesn't. Bandai, their designers have a thing for making Iron Man movie toys so like anime aesthetic inspired, broad shoulders, thin narrow waist. A guy can't fit in the suit, and the movies don't portray Tony's suits not looking thick. I have my old phone here that I can show you some still images, because if you know my channel, you guys like that. The proportion issues that this Mark III has is the waist section should be coming down. You shouldn't almost kind of have like a belt-like effect here. This should be filled out. The shoulder should be slightly lower. The shoulder should be pushed in a little bit more. So the arms will never on this suit design be able to go fully straight down. The way that they engineered this, they basically can if I put them straight down, but they shouldn't be able to. This is, I think, like a 1-to-1 scale figure. So you can see the waist piece is much more integrated with the abdomen. It's not like a cylinder inside of a piece and inside of here. I don't think it's hateful. I don't think it's so egregious. It's fine to me. I do wish the shoulder pads came in a little bit more. The shoulders were a little bit more in. The biceps are also longer than they should be in comparison to the 42 and 43 sculpt. I think the head is very good. Maybe sometimes the 43 and 42 by the jawline looked a little wide. I think this looks fine. I think it looks very much like the Mark III, or like the Mark 43. The details everywhere else. Sometimes the Mark 43 looked more like a vibrant gold. Sometimes it looked a little bit more like a champagne gold, because the 42 was 100% a champagne gold. But if you see something like this, the 43 Hot Toys 1/6, it definitely is a more vibrant gold. It's not as champagne-y. Yeah, especially this image, you can see. So this aesthetically is basically like the mini 1/6 scale Hot Toys, as opposed to something like this, where you can see this is the quarter scale. The shoulders are much more flat against the body and integrated. Not just the pads, but the shoulders themselves. So you can see that shoulder is almost right beneath where this red piece on the chest comes up. It should be here. It shouldn't be that far up. Regardless, it doesn't ruin the effect for me. I think it looks fine. I think it looks a hell of a lot better than the other Iron Man arms. Some of the other ones, like I rattled off the different companies, they did the shoulders aesthetically better. They did. I won't deny it. But they did the rest of the figure dirty. It's not worth it. Especially, and I hope anyone watching this takes away, I want you guys to be a smarter collector. Don't buy everything. You won't buy 3 toaster ovens for your kitchen. Why are you buying 3 Mark IIIs, 3 Mark VIIs, 3 whatever? It's all 6 of the Mark 43s. There's some people on YouTube here that kind of like to have a collection and like a library historically of all these things, and I can't say anything to your financial situation, but that's a really, really quick and easy way to be poor. It really is, because these things, despite what anyone wants to say, are not easily moved and liquidated. They're not stocks. It's all subjective. And no one really wants to understand that. They think if they see on eBay, it sells for a price. It's not subjective. It sold for that. Objectively, yes, it did sell for that. Someone that needed to have it. There's no algorithm that's dictating that. There is nothing but an intrinsic value someone deems, I'll pay $400 on the aftermarket for that item. It is all also not just subjective in the pricing, but how the price becomes that is speculation. So I just be smart with what you buy. You can have multiple whatever, you can do whatever you want with your money. I'm just trying to save you a couple bucks. And honestly, to me, maybe this is a pipe dream, maybe I'm wrong. If we are all more selective and say, you know what, I'm not going to buy the SHF, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to wait for something like Threezero to make the favorite armor that I have. I fully believe Threezero will, if they do basically the same engineering in this, they make them with the Iron Patriot and the 46. I would have no problem if I wanted to collecting the Iron Man line of Threezero in this scale. This is a fantastic piece. I shake it like this. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't move. There's not any piece that's loose. I try tugging on the legs. They don't move. I try go forward and back. They don't move unless I put the proper pressure and I move it. The entire skeleton is made out of die-cast metal. SHF, the feet were made out of die-cast, and every single copy I had of any armor got loose on me. The drop-down hip method of the SHFs. The original Mark VI, the same hip, the same ring, cracked on me for me doing nothing, leaving it there on the pressure of the toy standing on its own, cracked the joint. I never play rough with these things. I never do anything too extreme. Both copies of the original Mark VI from 2013, the very first one SH Figure Arts did, cracked on me. One arm got excessively tight at the internal ball joint, and then the next one was fine, and then the hip joint cracked, and then I tried to move the arm after leaving it on my shelf for a few weeks. Same thing, couldn't move the arm joint, it froze. My environment is not anything where it's super hot or super cold. Normal room temperature kept at my house. No idea why shit like that happened. I cannot speak to the longevity of how this Iron Man will fare. I can tell you, though, with the entire skeleton being made out of die-cast metal, and it doesn't, there's not one piece on this toy that squeaks. Not a damn joint that moves. I'm not going to go over all the articulation. Other people have done it. That's not the point of the video. My point is just to tell you my opinion and what I think. If you're interested in this, I would 100% buy it. I think too many reviewers are like, okay, it does this, it does that. I think it's really good. You thought the Figma was good too. You thought the SHF was good. You're not objective. And I really, with you guys, I want to be objective. Just like I am with the Transformers in the forum and on my other two videos. I just want you guys to be smarter when you're buying these things, because they are superfluous, they are toys, they're knickknacks, they're nothing that you need, they're not investments. You're meant to buy this and enjoy it. If it goes up later down the line, cool, and you don't want it, cool. Maybe you make some bucks. Sell off your old stuff to, if you want to buy new stuff. If you have limited space, don't buy a bunch of stuff and then you got nowhere to put it. Just be smart with your money, guys. You know, be smart with what you buy. Buy the pinnacle. Have a, and maybe this is a pipe dream, you know, but I think if we all set a bar to say we're not buying anything less than this standard, the companies have to do it. But instead, companies like Bandai have continued to decrease the level of their QC, to decrease the level of their quality of their items. And what has the community, I can't say that I've done it. I've done it with a few things because I was such a sucker for, say, whatever the item was, the character. But the conversation isn't happening in the community, which will be brought up in other videos. One in particular is Cooler. For his price tag and the character design, it needed to be bigger. It needed to be bigger. But instead, he's the height. He's 7 inches to the dome of his head. He's the height of this Iron Man. And I understand that this Iron Man is in a different scale. But what you also have to understand is something like the King Piccolo toy. Why is that taller than Cooler when King Piccolo is said to be 7'4"? You know, to even 8 feet. The Cooler's 11 feet tall. You know, so that's something for a different video that I'm going to be making as well. But the main point is your money going to something that you're going to enjoy? What are you enjoying? What are you tolerating? And for me, the kind of money that all these things are going for, I'm not tolerating anything. Either I'm going to love it and it's going to be exactly what I want, or I don't want it. And isn't that the point of reviewing? Shouldn't it be more objective? I feel like nobody is anymore. I feel like nobody will tell you, these are the flaws. If you can get over it, you get over it. They just say, like, here's some cons, here's some pros. But they always almost recommend, like, I give it a solid 8 8.5, 8 out of 10. No. You know the one guy that points everything wrong with an item that most people don't like because he shatters, I think, your image of all these toys, and he boils them down to a product, is Anthony's Customs. That guy, just like I do with my previous videos, he boils the thing down to an item. There is no subjective shit. If there is, he tells you, I am subjectively biased towards this character, but here are the issues. Buy it, don't buy it, do whatever you'd like. But this is the problem with the item. Many other people don't do that. D Amazing, very, very positive with his reviews. He cracked under the Figma 43 and 42. They were some of his older videos, but he hated those things. He said this is nothing like the SHF, and I agree. From what I saw his video, what I saw other people's videos of the Figma, those things didn't sell well, and they were extremely overpriced. That Figma was the same price essentially as this. I think that was roughly $80 to $100. It's the same price as this. It's smaller than this. It came with less stuff than this. There's no die cast in that. It doesn't have a light up feature. It doesn't come with a stand as nice as this. And that was years ago. That's another thing too. Some of you guys want to talk about inflation. Do you understand how much inflation happens in 5 years? It's negligible. Things don't go from $40 to $120, but that's what everybody in this community is paying. You're paying $150 for a 6-inch. If it was worth that, don't you think something like the Buzzmod Edward Elric would have sold out completely? But no, FMA is not relevant anymore. It's $150 on BBTS for a 6-inch. It's not worth it. And another good thing that I'll mention with that too, how you know it's not worth it, is because the same company, which is why I've never handled a Threezero product before this Iron Man, but I'm so smitten with it, I'm so taken aback with how much quality, how much they give you. You can see all the accessories in the back here, blast effects, the stand, the different hands, the wrist rockets, the light up feature, the die cast in him. The Edward Elric Threezero 1/6 scale toy went for like $135. You could get the 2-pack with him and Alphonse, both 1/6 scale, appropriately sized, how big Alphonse is supposed to be compared to Edward, roughly, for $270. So for, I think, less than the $150 price mark, you got just Edward by himself. The Buzzmod that is 5.5 inches tall is $150. Are these companies charging you? Like Threezero, I think, may very well be. People praise NECA for keeping the prices down to $20. Now it's a little bit, with the ultimate figures, like $30. To still be at like the same similar price point, as opposed to all these other imports. They praise them. Look what Threezero's giving you, you know? So if you're going to praise that, I need you guys to crucify something like Aniplex for their Buzzmod line, that they're $150 a piece. It's not there. The value is not there. And if you're buying all these things, you're not buying a wave of legends. You're buying all the Demon Slayer Buzzmod figures. They're $150 a piece. The Tanjiro for Figma came out and it was less money. I assumed the Fire Guy or whatever, he's $155 on Buzzmod, or he's $150 on Buzzmod. The Figma got announced at $155. Do you guys see what happened? He's not actually worth more money. He's not a web shop exclusive from Good Smile, and you can't get him. He's on BBTS. He's across other sites too, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. From what I saw, they never said it was an exclusive. It's just that character. They saw, oh, you guys are paying $150 for this. We're going to do it too. They're just robbing you of your money. They're not giving you a product that is anywhere near the cost. Even if it doesn't take them that much to make this, it's nowhere near the quality, the material, the build quality, the paint quality. It's nowhere near what they are charging you whatsoever. And I haven't found a company in recent years that I feel like I got every bang for my buck like I did with this Iron Man toy. I think it's incredible. The last thing I'll say on this, another thing to promote Threezero and their products, the Hulkbuster that has a light up feature in the back, the chest, and the head, with only 7 of the same batteries this takes. I believe it's the same battery. Transforms the chest and opens up to remove the abdomen and legs and the forearms, just leaving this piece up here. This can plug in and integrate, fold it back up, and it can still fully articulate. The cavity does not, from what I've seen, it does not affect the articulation whatsoever. That toy is $250, guys, if you want it. It's $250. The SH Figuarts that is slightly bigger than the Marvel Legends BAF was $500 retail, and it was 9-something inches tall. The Threezero is a larger scale, much nicer paint job. Does not have the same aesthetic, slight tweaks that Tom Machinations does. This thing looks like it came right out of the movie, for the most part, like this does. When it's aside from here on the shoulders, the proportion, they look like they stepped out of the movie screen. I could believe a guy's in this. That Hulkbuster is 12-something inches tall by Threezero and has better articulation, not as many light up features, but has a transformation feature to put this in there. It integrates with the other toy that they made, like it does in the movie. Comes with swappable hands instead of articulated fingers, but who cares? It's got all the other armaments that the SHF did when it comes to like the gauntlets and everything. Has way better movement than the SH Figuarts. It's half of the price. Explain to me how something bigger that's got 3-something inches on the toy that we're first talking about for $500, the SHF, and this also plays into the whole inflation thing. In 2016, that thing cost $500. In 2022, the Threezero that's bigger, full of die-cast, is $250 with everything that it does. Different companies. Was the SHF worth $500, or did you get scammed because Tom Machinations said, we're doing SHF X Soul of Chogokin, and that's what this piece is going to be? Did you get your money's worth, or did you get scammed? If you say you got scammed, I love you for it. You understand what's happening. There has been this phenomena that these collectors, people getting into collecting, almost referring it to as like, oh, I'm out of the game. This is not a game, bro. This is just a hobby. You need to chill out. You don't need to call it that. You know, the game of like flipping, investing. No, that's the poor man's game. Go buy stocks. Stop buying the stuff to flip, guys. Stop it. I see too many people in my local mall in Jersey that they literally are just hoarders with this stuff, and they opened up a small kiosk to sell all this stuff, and they don't know why it doesn't sell as fast as it should. Because these things are not liquidatable. You just can't liquidate it like a stock. You can't. So don't try. Don't put yourself in a hole where you have so much inventory because you thought you could make money. A YouTuber that I have no association with, but he knows what he's talking about, Reserved Investments Sean on YouTube. Go check the guy out. It's Reserved Investments. He can tell you things that I never could, because he's been antiques and collectibles trade for so long. You know, and he'll tell you too, buy something because you want it. Don't buy it. Don't buy anything like this unless it's a short-term hold. Don't buy for the long term. This will never go up in extreme value. I do personally feel this toy will go up. I think on the secondary market, not forever, not a long-term hold, but I do think it won't last at $90, because if other things went up, even if they don't move, this is the best one that's ever come out. And not by default. This thing gives you what you want for it. It really does. The movement, again, watch anybody else's review. If you want to know how well this thing moves, this was really just a discussion video I wanted to do. Is it worth it? Is it worth it compared to other things? What are we all, you know, in this hobby? What are we doing with our money? But yeah, that's really it, guys. I really don't have much more to say. If you're on the fence about picking this up, I would just do it. Again, responsibly. If you want an Iron Man, if you got all the other ones, if you got different versions of the 43, I suggest just getting rid of them and getting this. Funnel the money into this. You will be a lot happier, I guarantee it. You know, even though it is a bit bigger, the other Iron Man toy, like by SHF, don't fit with Tony Stark SHF. He's too big to fit in those armors. What that really means is the armors are too small and too thin to house him. I think his torso was thicker than the waist of the Mark III. How does that work? That doesn't. It's physically impossible, you know? So, that's it. Please leave any kind of comments. I would love to have a discussion, talk about it with you guys. Hopefully, I'm not trying to call anybody out here saying you guys are done with your money. I want for everyone to be smarter. Like I said, it could be a pipe dream, but if we are all smarter and have a standard of, this is what $90 means in 2022, not this, I think we could all get a lot better items for the collection. Rather, if you hold items for a year and then get rid of them and rotate your collection out, whatever it is, when you buy it for a certain price, you're going to get that quality. I do think we used to a long time ago. Especially with DBZ SHF, we definitely did. They improved their designs, their articulation, their engineering. QC went downhill. You know? So, companies will be companies. They're going to try and nickel and dime you for everything that they can. It's up to us to not let them. Let it sit on the retailer shelves. Let it sit in BBTS's warehouse. Don't pick it up. Don't buy it. Because it's not worth your money. You can invest that in something a lot nicer. You know? But yeah, that's everything.